my name is Hunter Sutton. I'm working with those two idiots behind the camera. We're here to learn you a thing or two about Beowulf. We don't know who wrote it, so can't help you there. But it took place somewhere in here. Bunch of communists up there. And it's about some warrior. He goes to help a king whose castle's being attacked by a massive monster who wants to rip him apart. So, he goes through, beats the monster, then has to deal with the monster's mother. That's not fun. In the end, he wins and gets his kingdom. Alright, according to this Wikipedia article I just pulled up, Beowulf was written in 6th century Denmark, which is the early Viking era. Because of this, and because of the Viking culture that we have discovered, but the Vikings tend to exaggerate deeds or put in mythical creatures to amplify a heroic experience. This is most likely the case in Beowulf. There is no monster that lived in the swamp, but he probably defeated a very powerful enemy of the kingdom.
Alrighty, so I'm going to run you guys through the main characters of Beowulf. First and foremost, obviously, Beowulf, the epic poem is named after him, and he's the protagonist. So he's a Geatish hero who fights the monster Grendel, fights Grendel's mother, and then towards the end of the poem, he fights a fire-breathing dragon. Beowulf really represents what a hero should be like in older cultures and in literature. When he's young, he's heroic. He's not afraid of anything. He's willing to help everybody around him. And in his old age, he's a really, really good ruler, and he just serves his kingdom very well. One of the bigger characters in the beginning of the epic poem is King Hrothgar, who's the king of the Danes. He calls on Beowulf when Grendel terrorizes their realm. So he's more of a celebratory kind of leader, but at the same time he's a father figure to Beowulf, and Beowulf answers his call immediately. So Grendel's the first major monster in the epic poem, and Grendel's introduced as a demon who descended from Cain, a biblical figure who killed his brother Abel. So, Grendel terrorizes the Hall of Heorot, and that's when, Beowulf is introduced into the poem, and that's what catapults the plot. So, Grendel's mother comes into the plot later on after Beowulf rips off Grendel's arm. She basically is driven just by vengeance and revenge for what happened to her son, and that's when Beowulf makes his journey to the Lake of Monsters. So the last major character of Beowulf is a Danish warrior named Unferth. And Unferth is really the complete opposite of Beowulf. While Beowulf is heroic and brave, Unferth says that he's capable of defeating Grendel when he's really not, and Beowulf calls him out on it. Is that it? Is that all he is? That's it? That's... okay, well... nice. Sounds like Ryan.
Okay, so to summarize Beowulf, it starts out in the kingdom of Denmark, where there's a king named Hrothgar. He's built a massive mead hall named Heorot, where the soldiers can eat and drink and party after their battles. This upsets the nearby monster Grendel. He comes to kill them all. Was his first option there. He does this multiple times, killing a few soldiers at a time, and they can't beat him. So it continues and continues until eventually a foreign warrior named Beowulf comes to help him out. So it doesn't take long for Grendel to attack once Beowulf reaches the kingdom, and it's during Beowulf's first dinner with the king and the soldiers in the mead hall. This is also where Beowulf meets Unferth for the first time, his opposite in the book. In the attack, Grendel's arm is torn off by Beowulf in a great battle, and he's left to die. They also take his arm, which they chopped off and hang it up for show in the mead hall. So they decide to celebrate once they kill the monster Grendel. And when they do this, Grendel's mother comes and is very upset, obviously, for Beowulf for killing her son. Another great battle ensues, and Beowulf wins again, also decapitating Grendel's body in the process. This makes the Danes very happy, and Beowulf returns to Geatland in his original where he's from, and is made king for his heroic deeds. He eventually fights another dragon, this time in a great battle, kills the dragon, but is mortally wounded and dies.
Alright, so now for the themes of Beowulf. First and foremost, there's the honor theme, and it's really exemplified with Beowulf when he talks with Unferth. So Beowulf has much more honor than Unferth does, And much of people's respect for a person depends on their honor. So obviously, in this poem, Umfrith is the opposite of Beowulf. He doesn't really have much respect, while Beowulf has respect from many because of how much honor and bravery he bestows. So another theme is the theme of heroic morals, and this is different than chivalry that you see a lot with, King Arthur's knights at the Round Table. The heroic morals establishes how Beowulf should live his life and act in certain situations rather than just upholding a certain code.
Oh, sorry. Why
Really?
bread?
Why not? It's white bread, like you. Do it again.
Hey. Was it good?
No.
Did you get